Hey, you guys, welcome to Nitish Flash. You guys, did you just watch Love is Blind? Episode 13, no, episode 12. It was a train wreck, just as I thought. Were you surprised? I wasn't. Let's get into it. So, let's first of all start out with the success story, okay? And that is Amy and Johnny, okay? If you watch the season throughout, you can tell that Amy and Johnny were what, as Chelsea says, one of the favorite couples, and they were for reasons because it was a lot of work done on their part, and a lot of people, when they got into their space, they felt the love, the connection that they had, and it showed all the way through. I did not expect either one of them to say, I don't, or I can't. I really expected them to do exactly what happened, and it was really beautiful. Their wedding. Seeing Amy, in her space. She said she always wanted a fairy tale wedding. I'm following my notes, you guys, and things like that. Amy has her future sister-in-law in on the bride's side of things, which was really nice. You could tell that everyone's trying to be inclusive to each other, and that's something I really really like about their union. I believe that they're going to have a lot of fun together, the whole entire family. If everything goes well, and I don't see a reason why it shouldn't. It seems as though they have their head on their shoulders the right way, and they love each other. Johnny speaks highly of Amy to his friends and his family. One of his friends was like, "Hey, we never got that deep." And he's like, "Yeah, we just dug in." You know, that's where the work comes in. You got to have those conversations. Even if you go into bankruptcy, like Johnny had said, you got to have those conversations. How are we going to handle that? Things like that, and be serious about it. It's not so much like how many kids you have, and the white picket fence. There's more to life and partnership than that, and that's exactly what marriage is—a partnership. Okay, so Johnny's not normally her type, and all her friends know that. The girl that was doing her own makeup, she made very very clear, yeah, because it's usually not your type. However, she did have a dream that whoever her next man was going to be, or her man of the future, excuse me, they would be blonde. And also the father had a dream that her kids would have like blondish hair and things like that. So it seems as though it was in the cards. Okay. Johnny's parents came in, and they were really down to earth, very, they look, like his mom looks so, youthful, she's a nice size and everything. They were very happy for him. They gave each other big hugs, and he looks at, um, Amy looks amazing in her dress. She comes out to show her dress, and she just starts tearing up, and her dad starts to choke up, and so does her future sister-in-law. She's just like, oh, you know what I'm saying? And she's trying to hold it in and everything. But it was a really, really heartfelt moment. And, the dad just really got choked up. And the father changed his whole mind on the experiment, of Love is Blind. And he said, I guess if two people really do the work, then love can be blind. So, Amy and Johnny's experience has changed his mind on such a thing. Johnny is about to walk down the aisle with his mom. His mom is escorting him. And, they had a really good, mom and son moment. And she said, just say what's on your heart when you get up there, And, hopefully at the end of this, I'll have a wonderful daughter-in-law. And so it was just very nice. When Johnny got up to the altar, he was just sweating bullets. And his friend is the one who had like a little cloth for him so he could wipe off himself, and his friend actually did the wedding, and so that was very interesting too, to see that his friend was doing he married them. And so her dad and her brother escort Amy down the aisle, and like she's just in there like, wow, she had her flowers in the middle. And her brother is the one that she was talking about in the pods, who's disabled. He has ADHD, I believe, or something like that. I'm sorry, you guys. He has ADHD. And you know, he was on one side and the dad was on the other, and they escorted her down, and she just like, oh my God, you know, everybody's looking, and you know, you can tell like she's just like overwhelmed by it all. And they get up there, and they say their vows, and first they ask Amy, would you basically take this man's hand in marriage? I don't know how those, you know, I don't know how they're marrying people on there or whatever. I don't know what that meant. But, you know, usually you say for better or for worse, richer for poor, sickness and health. You know, they had some other kind of way they said it, and it was like one sentence. And then she said, I do. And then they asked Johnny, and he said, I do also. So, you know, everyone was happy. They applauded. They came down there. And so as they were going out, it was this artist who was painting their picture, like a portrait of them. It was really pretty. And so they went on out there, and they popped some champagne, and they talked, and they kissed, and they hugged, and they said, my husband, my wife, you know, they were just very happy to be married. They came in, and they were going down the aisle, just dancing and everything. It just seems like their two families just conjoined so well, you know, and everyone, you know, just seemed to have fun with each other. And that's what you want, you know. You want people. I do believe that they're going to have kids sooner than what they think, though. There's good, there's bad. Let's get to this drama right now. Okay, first we're going to start out with Chelsea and Jimmy. Okay, it started out with them, and basically you know, it ended off in the last episode. Jimmy of Chelsea's position, you know, on the wedding. She ponders, and you know, eventually she gives a yes. She said that even though we've had that one argument, I believe that, you know, we've learned something from it, and that, you know, yeah, we could work it out, and you know, I would meet you at the altar. But then, what is going on with these men? You know what I'm saying? I mean, then Jimmy just says, well, I can't do it. I'm not going to be there, basically. You know, you can be there, but I'm not going to be there, okay? And so she's just like, oh my God, oh, why you mean? You know how her mouth goes downward, just anywhere. And she gets the whining and stuff. So, you know, now, mind you, let's preface this. Last episode, they went to this beautiful amusement park. It was laid out just for them. It was nobody else in the amusement park. They went on a roller coaster ride. They played games. They had fun all day into the night. And then they're sitting down to have a little bite to eat. And that's where they are now. Okay? Okay, let's preface that. Okay? They spent the whole day together having fun. Just doing coupley things and everything. Okay? But Jimmy told her, he said, well, you know what? I don't think I can do it. You know, because, you know, I really thought about things, you know. He wants a relationship, but he says, I don't want to go to the altar. That's what the man said. He doesn't want to go to the altar. Okay. And so, you know, of course, that upsets her. I've never liked Chelsea through this whole thing, and I still don't care for her, okay? Because I feel like she's whiny, she's, you know, she's jealous, she is clingy and all that other stuff. However, I must agree with her when it came to the fact that he went through that whole entire day just to tell her, I'm not going to see you at the altar, okay? It's just going to be you there. So if I were you, I wouldn't show up. Okay. I just thought that was very, very cold. You know, why even have her out there? Why even have her out there that whole day? You know, and so that's something that she said. Well, what was this all about? What was this day all about? Yeah, I agree with her on that one. You know what I'm saying? He could have said, you know what? You know, no need to go, you know, let's just cut it right where it is. I'm not ready for this. You know, I don't think it's going to work. The reasons that he gives, okay. I'm not really clear on those either, because basically it all came down to the fact that she exposed him and his friend who was once in a relationship with him. And like I said a long time ago in one of the other past videos that I did, go back and watch them. I did say that the girlfriend, she had something. I felt it. A woman can feel things like that. And, Chelsea kept on talking about, their love making and everything. And so the girlfriend standing up there by him like, oh, he cries. Oh, he cries. That's something new, because she's been there before. Okay. She done been there before. But it seems like Mr. Jimmy, instead of him fighting for his engagement, since Chelsea's who he's with, he's more fighting her over the fact that she put it out there in space saying that he was once in a relationship with her, and he doesn't want it to look bad on his friend or anything like that. And I'm just like, I'm a little bit like Chelsea. It's like, who you trying to marry, me or her? Okay. And you all talk way too much, because according to Chelsea, y'all on the phone every day, all day, and texting all day. What kind of relationship is he see himself being in? Not only a person like Chelsea. Okay, let's just say this is not Chelsea. Maybe it would have been Jessica. I think that he would have got the same reaction. Maybe not the same exact reaction, but I believe that Jessica would have, she would have honed in on that too. Hey, wait a minute. Y'all just a little bit too chummy. Okay. Because you know what happens, that either they have been together or they had been, or they're still trying to get together. They trying to make up their minds where they want to be or something like that. So that woman got to see her way out. Okay. She should not be that up and chummy with him right now when he's trying to look for a wife. Okay. So then Chelsea says, you love me, but it's not enough, and just like, I feel as though you disrespected me and you disrespected my friend by even mentioning that relationship. And then she brought it up again. She was like, you mean the one that you was effing? And so he said, oh, great. Thanks for bringing it up again. See, this is what I'm talking about, and so it just seems like he has a lot. I don't know. He has a lot to say about the relationship that he had with her, and he's very protective of it, with the relationship he had with his girlfriend. Basically, the girlfriend was the skeleton that jumped out the closet. Hey, yeah, I am. You're always looking for the skeleton that's coming out the closet. Well, she's one of them. She just came trickling out of there and everything. And so just a mess. Your deepest, darkest secret is you screwing your friend, which is sort of weird. Why would that be your deepest, darkest secret, that you screwed your friend? Was no one supposed to know about that? What kind of friend was she? Is she like a distant, like sixth cousin? Or is she like someone else that she was at once one of your friends' girlfriends or something? And you're not supposed to, break the bro code or something. I don't know what it is, but it's sort of weird that you're very protective of it. Anyway, the end of that scene is Chelsea running off, to cry on the gate. And Jimmy's just sitting there at the table looking like Jimmy, The bachelorette party and the bachelor party is on. And that is Amy and AD and Johnny and Clay, right? We already know what happened with Amy and Johnny. Their success story, right? But we got to get through the bachelorette party too, okay? So, AD and her girls, they roll up, they strut in the venue with their friends. They turn up. AD has a blast with the chair, riding it like it's clay. Amy is dancing with her friends, and they're both having fun. And Amy says, so Amy and AD, they meet up at the bar. And so basically, long story short, AD says, wait a minute, you haven't slept with him yet? And so Amy was like, well, we're sort of waiting. We're sort of waiting. And so AD was like, girl, you don't buy the car without test driving it. So she was cracking up at that. There was a scene where they cut her out to herself, and she was just like, that lady is spicy. I don't know what she's talking about. She is getting that. Okay. Basically, she is getting that. Okay. And so, AD was totally convinced. She said, I love Amy, but she getting it. Okay. AD asks, like, Amy, how sure are you? How sure is Johnny? I know Johnny loves you. Amy is pretty sure, like almost 100% that, Johnny's going to say yes. She's more like 98% herself, which is really close. The only reason why she, has some hesitation is because of her trust issues, and she just don't know what to do. She wouldn't know what to do if Johnny said no or something like that, but she doesn't think that would happen. Guy's side, it was real boring actually. But they were, playing that game where, you toss the sack in the hole. And so they told Johnny's friend said, hey, pretend Amy's here and watching you throw that. And so, he makes it right into the hole. And so they're like, yay, and on the side, you can see Clay like over there. And it looks so weird. He looks so awkward standing over there. I don't know. You guys have to rewatch that scene, okay? Go back and rewatch that scene and see if you saw what I saw. Oh, he's indecisive too. He doesn't know what he wants. Yeah, his parents' situation really screwed him up. But anyway, Johnny's talking to his friends, and basically Johnny's saying, hey man, I'm ready. I went all in. I'm ready. And then they switched to Clay talking to his friends. He was like, and telling the friends like, yeah, the sex is good. Why do men, like him? The chemistry is good. He says we're like best friends. We vibe. She's willing to fight for me. It's always somebody got to fight for him. Will you take my sweet hand in marriage? It's like, dude, you do know that you're the man in the relationship, right? Clay just always confused me. Like I said, I get some vibes off of him, and it's not necessarily straight. Okay. I got those same vibes off of that other guy. I can't think of his name right now. Clay's friends, they just listen and they just looking at him like, okay. He pretty much trying to convince himself. He's doing all this big talking. How Clay, because I really feel like, she completes me, I complete her. And, we are one, and, we complete each other, and she can make me a better man. She believes in me. And, it's all this like he's got to, root himself up or something. And it's like, dude, these are all words and no actions. You have never told that woman that she's beautiful. You never told that woman that she looks, amazing, because AD, other than just the body, we know AD has a wonderful, absolutely beautiful body. Okay. But there's more to that, because when she takes the lashes off, she's a completely natural beauty. She's a very beautiful young lady. And I've never heard Clay say just that you're a beautiful woman. And I am happy to be with you, not that you're happy to be with me. There was even a scene like right before this scene ended that, Johnny and Clay are talking, and Johnny said, hey man, I went 100% all the way in. And Clay said, I do want to fight for AD. And Johnny just looks at him like, do you? Like you could see it in his eyes. Like he didn't do what I just did, but you could see it in his eyes. It's like, yeah, we'll see. Clay and AD's wedding. AD pulls up in a beautiful, in a white car. She gets out. She got this cute little white shorts outfit on, and she looked very nice. She went in and she was just really happy, like to see the decor in the room and everything like that. You could tell she was just really in the presence of the moment, you know. She's a very passionate, sensitive person, and I know who she gets it from. Her mother. Okay, she gets all of that from her mother, Jacqueline. Excited when she walks in and she looks over Clay's wedding band, and she's just like, wow, you know. You could tell she ponders it like, this is going to be my husband, you know. And then she said, without her confidence, this is something that she said, without her confidence, they would have never left the pods. They've been still in the pods or never left the pods. And that says a lot, you know, because she's pretty much had to hold the whole relationship up, you know. And, you know, when you have to do that, there's some kind of, there's a balance issue. And that means somebody's doing much more in a relationship than the other. And eventually they'll get tired of it. But it's never good that the woman is holding up most of the relationship. Never good. Okay? Because a man is supposed to be the strength, you know, the provider, you know, masculine. I'm not getting that from Clay. They go through the whole recap of the proposal. And like I said, you know, when he proposed to AD, he said, would you take my wonderful hand, or whatever he said, will you take my lovely hand in marriage, you know, and we rock this thing out, you know. And I'm like, I don't know if I would have even said, yeah, I mean, you can't ask me better than that. You know, what about my hand? My hand is lovely too. Flash forward, you know, her sisters come, AD's sisters come, and they join her, and they, you know, they dance, and, you know, AD's dancing and everything. And because she's happy, you know, she looks so good without those long lashes on. She looks so cute, you know, and they were curling her hair in the meantime and everything. And then, you know, they go back over to Clay. You finally see his two brothers. You know, I don't know their names, but, you know, and it seems like one of the brothers already knew, you know, yeah, man, because I know you, you know. And, you know, you have people always saying, I know you, you know. And the other brother he seemed a little more introspective, like he told him more like, you need to open yourself up more, you know, and things like that. And he looked like the youngest of them, but anyway, maybe he was, maybe he wasn't. But okay, AD's mom, Jacqueline, shows up, and she's crying all the way in, like she just like, oh, my daughter's getting married, you know, oh my gosh, you know. I'll probably be the same way when one of my daughters get married. And she said that she met Clay's mom, and she said that's a real woman there, basically. And you know what? I say the same thing. Clay's mom is the bomb, okay? She's real. She, you know, well, we'll discuss that later. She gets dressed in her long split gown, and it looks amazing on her. And her mom is getting choked up, and, you know, and everything. And her mom gives her this a jade necklace that was passed down to her from her mother and her grandmother. And so, you know, and AD thought it was so cute and everything, and it was precious. All of AD's sisters were there. AD is the oldest of them, and I think 7, and, you know, something like that, like 7. So, and you know, Clay comes in and, you know, goes into the venue, up to the aisle, and he's like, you know, joking and everything. Hey, I'm looking good. I'm looking okay, you know. And her mother was like, yeah, you look fine, you know, and everything like that, you know, just having fun and you know, vibing out or whatever. And so, you know, AD walks down the aisle. By the way, I don't know why her brother couldn't walk her down the aisle, but she had to walk herself down the aisle. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just that, you know, I think it would have been nice if her brother had walked her down the aisle. I don't know why he didn't make it, but maybe he couldn't just get there. So she walked herself down the aisle, and they had a wonderful ceremony. and everything. They were vibing out, because, I like the way, we do these things with each other, and everything. And yeah, because they were just vibing out, and you would think that, hey, it was just going to go just really good. You know what I'm saying? Just really good. Yeah. That's what you think, right? So anyway, I don't know why, but they keep asking the women first if they would take the man's hand in marriage. I don't understand that. But anyway, they asked AD and she said, yes, of course, I do, But then when they asked Mr. Clay, he said he's not ready. He said he's not ready. Do y'all hear me? The man said he is not ready. And AD just looks at him like, are you serious? Are you serious right now? Are you serious right now? And it was like, it was a delayed reaction on her part because she's just like, I can't believe this. This fool done got me up here to this aisle, this altar, and flipped on me. Okay? And she's like, this is not okay. So she's just like, AD turns around and she said to her mom, you ready? And her mother was like, I got you. So then mom's escorting AD down, but his mother grabbed AD and she gave her a really good hug, and she told her, that she was sorry and things like that. And then AD and her sisters headed back to the room. She's at the room and she says, her mom's trying to console her, but she says, I need a minute. I just need a minute, and she's crying. She's crying a lot, and it's understandable, One of her sisters, though, wasn't having it. It was one of her sisters. She had like the braids, and anyway, she was just like, well, he wasn't for you. She was just like, well, he just wasn't for you then. You know what I'm saying? Period, pretty much. That's pretty much what she said, period, But, she was just angry and she hated seeing her sister like that. And it is very traumatic. I think that AD is the oldest. And so, it's a lot to take in and everything. They switch over to Clay's parents agreeing with his, both Clay's parents, agree that he shouldn't do something he would regret. But the mother is like, you can't compare my marriage to your life. Okay. That's what she said. And so she knows that a lot of that, the burden of his mother and her and his dad's marriage, that Clay took that to the altar with him. Basically, he made his decision on the fact that he saw his father. He was with his father when he was going over the women's house, dipping and diving and things like that. And you could tell the dad is, he's like jivey kind. He's sort of, he's an older guy who thinks he still got it. He must be part of some fraternity or something. I saw the pin on his lapel, and the father supported him, in his decision. He said, as a man's man, on a man's man level, yeah, don't do nothing you don't want to do, this, that, and other. But the ex-wife got him together. Okay. Clay's mom got him together, and she did it very nicely and very tactfully. But she told him, she made him feel bad for everything that he was doing to her, because like she said, she found out during this process a whole lot of stuff that the dad did, and she was floored. And she said, but that's okay, I forgive you. She said, I know I forgave you and everything like that, but it's just a lot of things that I found out through this process that I had no idea about. And she told the father, you need to go to therapy with him and you need to apologize for your part. He took all of that up to the altar with him, she said. think that Clay was all words the entire time personally. He later asked his dad, hey, should I go see her? And I don't know. Anyway, he went to go see AD. She was in there by herself. It was all, you can tell that was filmed because, like, why would she be in there by herself? But, they gave her a minute, I guess, to talk to him, and he just kissing on her and everything. I'm like, baby, you can keep them kisses to your damn self. Okay. That's what you can do. You embarrassed me up there. Okay. If you weren't going to be a man enough and say that you was willing to go through this marriage, before we got up there, you know what I'm saying? You gave me no clue that this is what you were going to do. We had a plan, I carried this relationship pretty much, and I would have been like just telling him about himself. But, she loved him. She loved him. She wears her heart on her sleeve. And, you can tell that AD has been hurt many of times by many of men. She said, when is it going to be my turn? And she says that at least twice or 3 times. When is it going to be my time? I pour myself into these men and I get nothing back in return, and I feel for her, she may need to switch up some things, she's got to work on herself more. I hope she takes this time out to just focus on, do some inner work, some inside work, because I think that once she finds whatever it is in there that she's doing wrong, the right person will come along, because she would be a catch for any man. You know what I'm saying? I think she's a beautiful young lady. She has a nice head on her shoulders. And, hopefully this doesn't make her hard, because what ends up happening, you don't get chosen. You're not the wife, things like that. And it keeps going on. And eventually people harden up and they like, I'm not going to give my heart to nobody. I'm never going to give my heart over again like that. People like Clay, to me, he played with her emotions, and he still played with her emotions when he came back to talk to her. He's talking about, well, I don't want to leave you. Oh, I feel so bad. You should feel bad. You should feel bad, because this conversation could have been had and you didn't have to walk up to the altar. I think that he was trying to do this for AD because he knew how bad she wanted to get married. A lot of times, ladies, we want to get married so bad that it's at our own detriment. So something very interesting I had noticed, when they were in there talking, AD was talking to Clay. And so she was like, so what do we do now? And I'm like, girl, you said a couple episodes ago that if Clay does not say yes at the altar, that you said that you will pick yourself up. Okay. And you'll be okay. If he says yes or no, you'll pick yourself up, brush yourself off, and you'll be fine. But you will not date him after that, And I was like, okay, girl, I hear you, So now, what would you try to backtrack now? That's what I was thinking to myself. What you trying to backtrack now? But later on, she goes on to say, right before she leaves the venue and goes and get in the car, she says, yeah, I will not be dating him. But we'll have to see what happens at the reunion. It's just going to be a lot. I think that at the reunion, it's just going to be a lot of talking amongst singles, because there was only one couple out of the whole season, y'all. Anyway, I just had to get this video out and done. Okay, this was a mess, and I knew it was good. I had a feeling about Jimmy and Chelsea. Okay, so that did not surprise me. Okay, I always felt like Clay was leading up to a no, because he was just too much of a fast talker. Everything he said, it sounded like he was just saying words. You ever meet a person outside, they're just talking, it's like they're saying all the right things, but there's nothing behind it? That's Clay. Yeah, AD, I hope and pray that you find someone who's really deserving of your love. So glad to bring this to you guys. Nita's Place. We're going to be out. We're going to be back with the reunion next week, okay? So don't miss me. Make sure you come back. Like, share, and subscribe, you guys. Nita's Place out.